Kia ora! Welcome to another Sharp Kinane Limited software tutorial. My name's David Kinane. In this Fusion360 tutorial, we're going to be looking exclusively at the revolve tool, plus a little extra tip on how to use the extrude tool. So, let's get right into it. In this last Fusion360 tutorial of the current series, we're going to use another tool called the revolve tool. And we can use this tool to make a simple profile and turn that into a much more complex shape. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a simple profile. So we're going to click on the draw tool, select our plane, and I'm going to use the line tool, but I just want to zoom in a little bit so I can use the grid accurately. So I'm just going to set myself up. Now I want to make sure I'm in a quadrant away from one of these quadrant lines, and I'll explain that why in a moment. What we're going to do here is I want to create, I'm going to use the grid to freehand what I'm trying to create here. So let's just click on the tool icon here, and I'm going to just do a small little profile here. So I've gone up 2, right? So I'm just going to create a little chamfer here, create a little chamfer, and I come down to here, a bit further into here like this, I think, down to, and let's come 1, 2, 1, 2, yeah, to here, I think, and we'll come to here, a little chamfer here. I think I've come down too far. I have. Never mind. Let's just, I'm just going to freehand this. So I've now made this little shape, and we're going to finish the sketch. So I just need to delete this. There's my sketch finished, and we want to revolve this, and we'll edit it in a moment and we'll have a play with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here to create, I'm going to come to revolve, and we need to, I'm just going to zoom out, you want to see the magic here happen. We're going to revolve it around the axis. Now what I've done here is I'm going to do it 2 ways. I'm going to revolve around the axis and then revolve around its own axis as well. So let's have a look at this over here. Now I've got this sorted, let's have a look at this. We've selected the profile here, we've selected it, and we want to select the axis, and we can option here, we've got the project axis or we've got the particular axis. In this case I'm just going to click on this particular axis, click here, and it's gone 360 degrees. I can wind this back, I can change that to 180 or whatever, but I'm going to click OK on this for the moment. And what you can see now is from that one profile I have made, in this case, perhaps a pulley wheel or something like that. And because of the distance between the actual axis I rotated it around and the start of the model, we've got a hole in the middle. So you can measure that if you wanted to, but let's just undo that, step back through that process, and show you another way of doing it, and then you can make your own hole. So let's just do this again so we can see what's going on. Come back down to here, I'm going to come back to create again, click on revolve, choose the model, and again, because I've got project axis this time and a new body, rather than clicking the blue line for this particular, I'm going to click the end of the model, and it spins round this time. And again, you can choose whether it's going to be 180 degrees or 21 degrees or whatever you want it to be. But this time, instead of having a hole in the middle, we've now got a full object. So if you make your object away from an axis line, it gives you the opportunity to either rotate it around the axis or rotate it around the axis of the body itself on one of the edges. And so now, using that profile, I've made this very simple little pulley wheel. So what we're going to do now is make our own hole and put a flange through that as well. So let's just click off of this, and we're going to accept those changes, and now we're going to add our circle. So roll into this here, and we now need to find the center of this circle, which we're going to do. I'll finish my sketch. Because I made this profile off or away from the origin and not at the center of everything, it's going to be difficult for me to find the center of this circle. So we can I want to add another circle in the dead center of this flywheel so we can put an axle through it. So what I want to do now is I want to draw a circle. So let's just click on here, and I want to click on this face here, and you can see the origin, but it's not the center of this particular set of concentric circles here. So I now want to draw my own circle, and let's, for example, say I want to draw a, well, I've been drawing 9mm diameter. Let's make it 9 again. That's way too big. Let's make it a 3mm diameter. Click return. And what I've got now is this circle I'm going to try and line up. I can see this red line is the center of the circle in one axis, but the green axis is way off the center. So how do I center this? I can eyeball it, but that's not accurate. We want to make sure we can do that properly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up onto the constraints toolbar up over here. I'm going to click on the concentric option here, click on this. I'm going to select one circle, and I'm going to select the other circle, and these two will be constrained to each other, so they will be in the center. You can see as I've done this, the center of the larger circle has been highlighted. I'm going to click that, and the smaller circle should zoom to that white point, and it does. Now my object is centered in the circle here, and I'm confident that that's in the center, so my wheel would be balanced and not eccentric, and I think that's very accurate. So I can finish sketch now. And what I want to do now is I want to extrude this and cut the hole, but I'm going to show you a new technique for extruding, because I might change the dimensions on this profile and I don't want to remember extrude depths or do it manually. So let's click on E, and I want to extrude this, and I can just slide it up and down and through if I wanted to. But what I want to do now is I want to click on this option here, extent type distance, and I want to click to object. So click on this, and now I can use the orbit tool, and I can orbit round to the other side and click on the object over here. Just put this back onto here. And so what I've done here is, rather than specify a particular depth, what I've done is I've specified that this hole will always be attached to the depth or the thickness of, or the placement of this particular surface. So if I increase the thickness of this wall of my flywheel, that hole will move and adjust accordingly. So that's another way we can use the extrude tool. If we click on to object, it will keep track as I change my model in the future. So click OK. So there's my hole, and I can now rotate this round, and I want to make another drawing on here, and I want to, I better finish sketch on this one. So I can make a new sketch, and I want to zoom in, and what I want to do now is I want to make a little cutout on here, so we could put a little flange pin or to secure our axle in place so it doesn't spin. Just zoom in a bit more, and I'm going to again use the line tool here. So I'm just going to click on the edge of my circle, come across and click on here and come down to there. Make sure I click on the edge. There we go, finish sketch, and now I can do the same thing. Let's just zoom out of this. I'm going to do E again. This time I'm going to click on distance. I'm going to click to object, spin my get hold of this. To zoom out a bit more, I think. Spin this round, select the object I want to spin. That's it, click OK. And now I have created my flywheel object here. And now with a gear notched out of it, there's our model done. So we use the rotate, or the rotate tool to make our more complex object from that single profile. We've used an extension on the extrude tool, and so hopefully you can see from these 4 tutorials, using that range of tools, there's a whole range of really great modeling that you can do. So good luck with any models that you create in the future. Thank you for watching this Sharp Canane tutorial. Until the next one, ka kite anō.